This is an origin reading for higher chakras. Okay, so I'm going to get into my crystals first, like I usually do. And okay, I'll go ahead and I'll start with these. I have 6 here. Okay, so, woo! Dropping the purple fluorite. Okay, so I have my purple fluorite here. And this has a lot to do with empathy, psychic abilities, developing psychic abilities, and sort of aiding, supporting psychic abilities that a person has. It also has a lot to do with psychic protection as well. And then I have my lepidolite here. Again, really psychic stone. And especially having to do with dream time and things like astral travel, hypnosis, connecting to your higher self, connecting to guides, meditation, and a kind of trance or hypnotic or meditative state. And just all to do with kind of subconscious states and reaching different parts of yourself, especially while you are sleeping. And then this is my obsidian. And this, again, a really psychic stone. All 3 of these are really psychic stones. And obviously, obsidian also has to do a lot with absorbing negative energies, deflecting them, protecting yourself from energies that are coming towards you. And then I have these other 3. And I've never had this happen before. This is my 3rd reading of the night. And for all 3 of these readings, I've drawn these 3 crystals, which is really strange. That's never happened. But then also what's weird is, I'm not sure if I've done so many readings. I'm not sure if it was yesterday or the day before that, but there were 2 other people where I chose these 3 stones. And I'm pretty sure with at least one of them, it was only these 3. One of them, I was supposed to choose another green stone, a 4th one, my green fluorite, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I just had to like mention green fluorite to the person. So I don't know what's going on with these 3 stones. But these are all actually really psychic stones as well. My malachite here has a lot to do with kind of the same things as the purple fluorite. Really good with grounding and protection, and also helping with empathy and protection with empathy. Then I have my shatakite here. Shatakite is a very psychic stone. Really having a lot to do with healing, grounding, again, earth energies, and also clairvoyance, the 3rd eye, seeing the future, knowing the past. And then the 3rd one here is fuchsite. And this is definitely a healer's stone as well, a lot of calming energies. But specifically, this has to do a lot of times with retrieving information. So it helps you know what you need to heal. It helps you know how to heal it. I don't know why I keep choosing these 3. I don't know. I need to figure that out. Ask one of my guides about that. I don't know if that's like helping me because I'm doing so many readings to catch up on this backlog that I have recently. I feel like this is specifically for the people that I'm reading as well though, but I don't know. I've just never had that happen. Okay, so higher chakras. So that was the code name that came through from your guides. And as I was retrieving the code name, did I surround you in protective space? Okay, I'm going to have to do that. I don't think I ended up surrounding you in protective space because I just kept bumping into this block, and then I just immediately retrieved the code name. So I didn't even finish like surrounding you in protective space. Okay, so I always visualize it around myself first. So I'll talk about that block that I was bumping into a minute ago when I retrieved the code name. When I'm done here, there's some blocks coming up on the left side though. A lot of times though, the blocks that come up, it's just kind of what the guides want to talk about or reveal or whatever. But they're definitely clearing you of, this is your left side, so they're definitely clearing you of a lot of energies having to do with psychic abilities. And these three stones, the lepidolite, the purple fluorite, and the obsidian, and even these other three, all of these really have a lot to do with psychic abilities. That was kind of a theme with these stones. So you've got some chords. You've got some chords going on with the left that they want to cut. Okay, there's a cord at the left foot too. They're really trying to clear you for some reason when it comes to your psychic abilities so that you can access them better, so that you can access them in like a more intense way. Because I have a feeling that you're already definitely tapping into your psychic abilities. So there's a lot of energy here surrounding that. I know you sent like your channel over, or your YouTube channel. I didn't watch any of that for the reason that I really like to cold read. But I want you to be aware of that as well, so that I just feel like it's more validating, or it's more confirmation if I really don't know anything about the person, or at least if I know like very, very little about the person. Obviously, I don't know what was on your channel, so maybe I would have known very, very little to begin with. Okay, and then all around, your guides are trying to send like a very protective energy through your aura. Some of this feels like it's already there though. I don't know if this is something that you're like consciously doing, where you are intentionally protecting your space, or if that's something that you have done previously, but you have a lot of that naturally in your space already, but it feels like you've done something. It feels like you've been doing some kind of practice, something, even if you're not doing it consistently, or if you're not necessarily doing it right now, but it feels like you've done some kind of practice anyway, somewhat consistently, of some kind that is helping you to deflect other energies. So even though you're empathic, it feels like you deflect a lot of energy coming towards your space. Who's this person that I keep picking up on? Even during retrieving the code name, there was this feeling, felt almost like a sibling. It felt like a brother, kind of. Um, Now, that can mean different things. Sometimes this there's like a sibling feeling with this. So if you have a brother, this is definitely your brother that this is talking about. If not, then this is someone who feels more like a brother. So it could be somebody like a cousin, or it could be like a really good friend. This kind of feels like family, though. This feels like family. Um, so whether it's blood family or not, it feels like family, this person. And they feel young, they feel like a brother, like this brother energy. And this person feels like soul family. I've got to throw this out there too, though. Sometimes when I'm picking up on energies, um, it's the way that the person feels. So the person might feel male and they're female, or the person might feel female but they're male. And that just has to do with, do they have more masculine energy or do they have more feminine energy? I think I was just recently saying this in another reading, like even someone who's young can feel old, or vice versa. But it also feels like you're going to be meeting soul family. So this could be present, or this could be like a near future. This is either present or it's kind of near future. But this person feels like family. They're very close to you. They've had past lives with you. And it feels like there are several people that you're going to end up connecting with, who are part of your soul, who are part of your soul family, your soul group. And this doesn't mean that they're from the same planet as you or they have the same origin. It's not necessarily that, but you have connected with some of them in previous lifetimes. Now, I have a priestess lifetime coming up. I have an Egyptian lifetime coming up. I've got an Atlantean lifetime coming up. There's a few ancient Earth lifetimes that you've had that your guides are bringing up. And all of these lifetimes, whether you were like doing something spiritual as almost like a career type of thing, like in other words, where you're doing that full time, um, whether whether you were doing that specifically or not, there's a feeling like those lifetimes aided you with your spiritual path, your spiritual calling, and that you got a lot of soul growth from a few ancient lifetimes. In one of them, it feels like you are a mother, you have children, and you are nurturing them in this very intuitive way. And somehow this is triggering psychic development, and this is triggering growth in this area in this way. So yeah, it doesn't have to necessarily be specific to spirituality, where that was specifically your calling in that lifetime and that was all you were doing. It really doesn't feel that way. Um, it just has to do with you developing your psychic abilities, and you could be, a hunter in the forest, and you could end up developing your psychic abilities. There's a lot of moon energy coming in with you as well. That was coming through when I was getting the code name also. That was coming in right away. This kind of moonlight kind of energy. And I'm getting the word infusion. There again, this has to do with your psychic abilities. And this has to do with your psychic abilities coming through. Okay, so right, this brings me back to the higher chakras thing and why you had that code name, why they gave that code name. But immediately, as soon as I was starting to surround you in the protective space to begin the reading, I'm hitting on this chakra. It was the one immediately above the crown chakra. And this chakra, um, hmm, I'm not really well, okay. Yeah, this is a block, but in the way that normal people would have this block. Most people are not going to necessarily have this chakra activated. So it feels like this chakra wants to activate now. It feels like your guides are really wanting to activate this chakra. It does feel like it's partially activated, but also it's not just that one. There are some chakras up here that your guides are attempting to sort of stir and sort of set in motion, get them spinning and get them working and activated. And they've been just kind of sleeping before this. There's also like there's a Kundalini activation that your guides are kind of waiting for that needs to happen. And it feels like just in general some psychic centers that are going to be opening up. So we also have like psychic centers around our body, especially in the back of the neck. There's a big psychic center in the back of the neck. And this area is kind of like it's like a portal, and a lot of people through this area, they pick up on a lot of psychic information. but there are others too. There are others like around a lot around the head and the face. That area. There are a lot of channels and portals where we retrieve psychic information. So it's not only about chakras and having your chakras in alignment. It's just in general about opening up your channels to receive psychic information. At the same time, you do want to be somewhat closed off. You don't want to be too open at the same time, but that doesn't really feel like so much of an issue for you. You do feel a bit grounded, even though you have a lot of intuitive gifts and abilities. You have that grounding factor at the same time, which is really good. Not everybody has that has a lot of intuitive abilities. Some of them are really like, way up here and forgetting their keys all the time and all of that. That used to be me. Now I'm definitely a lot more grounded than I used to be years and years back. I don't forget things like crazy anymore, and just all kinds of like off the wall things like what used to happen years back. So it just has to do with grounding, and then also with supporting myself. I'm a lot more stable, so I'm a lot more grounded in general. So you have this grounding factor, um, and you have the ability to find ways to support yourself and your gifts. That's not really a problem for you, even if that needs to manifest all the way, because there's a feeling that um, that's kind of continuing to manifest. It feels like, um, but you don't really have blocks in that area. It's just more a matter of sticking with something, and um, it's like you retrieve something or you receive something as you continue moving forward, and that's just a natural flow. But that's not because you are blocked. You don't really have a lot of issues when it comes to manifesting. I feel like there has been a little bit of confusion as far as what you want to do, or how you need to be doing it exactly. But I feel like that's coming to you. I feel like even that is natural too, for you to be questioning things and for you to be open to alternatives and not necessarily have everything just completely, all of your ducks in a row, and you know exactly what you're going to be doing next year or 5 years from now. Or even, there can be some changes 5 months from now, even. But there is a general flow in a kind of direction that you would want to take. Um, it feels like, but your intuitive abilities are definitely going to come into play in this lifetime. They really need to. It feels like these other lifetimes that you've had where it wasn't necessarily, I feel like for sure there was one where you were like a priestess and this is what you did. But in that lifetime, it doesn't really feel like your abilities were really honed yet, or there. Um, really there in a sense. Obviously, we all have psychic abilities, but they weren't really triggered um, to to kind of form for you in like a physical way where you're consciously using them, and where you are aware of them. So it feels like these gifts have come to you as you've continued developing them and striving to use them in these other lifetimes, even if it wasn't like your main thing. But it feels like there's a reason for that. So that means in later lifetimes, you are using them more predominantly. And it feels like in this lifetime, this is one of those lifetimes where you are going to be really using those abilities significantly. Using your intuition and your psychic abilities. And it feels like that's more of a passion, more of a calling. That's going to be something that you're going to be not only using, but it feels like you're going to really enjoy it. Um, and feel like it's your arena. But at the same time, it feels like there's still some development that needs to happen. And your guides are helping you with that. So your guides are attempting to trigger that. Like with this Kundalini thing specifically, there was kind of this almost like dormant energy a little bit. Like there again, like almost like it's sleeping, kind of. It's not in like an activated state, it feels like. So that's something that needs to be triggered. And there's also this feeling of DNA upgrades as well, coming through for you. There's definitely a connection to some various planets. I feel this weird thing with your guides though. Um, a lot of times when a block comes up, not a lot of times, but like sometimes. Sometimes if there's a block that comes up, then a person's guides, they don't really want to go into the origin. But this is weird because with you, it's not really like there's a block. They're talking about things that they want to activate and that they want to trigger. And in a sense, that is kind of blocked, you could say, but not in like a really negative way, like there's some issue or something. And they're speaking about issues that you need to correct. That's not really what this energy is about. This is more like energies that are coming to you. And maybe they are flushing out energies that are keeping those kind of dormant, but at the same time, like I said, that's like relatively normal. Even for a star seed or someone, they're going to have chakras and centers, that are more closed off or not activated. You don't come in and just start necessarily with your kundalini awaken, or just all of your chakras just perfectly, working. Or maybe you do, maybe you are born that way, but then as you get older, they kind of shut down a little bit. And that's like this kind of natural thing that can happen here. So that's not really abnormal or them like bringing up an issue. It's more just them saying, we're going to work on that. We're going to help you with that. And we're bringing energies to assist you in that area. But for some reason, I am feeling some planets. I don't know. I feel like the origin is going to come to you, or maybe even that it already has. Um, or that you already have a feeling of what it is. Normally, though, regardless whether there's a feeling or not that the person already has, the guides just give me the origin, and then the person it's more like a confirmation type of thing. This doesn't feel that way. It feels like they want you to get this on your own. Um, I will say that there is definitely a Lyra connection coming in, and there's a Pleiadian connection coming in. And Lyra feels kind of secondary. It feels like a place that maybe you've had a couple of lifetimes or like a handful of lifetimes. So there's a connection there, but it doesn't feel strong enough to be an origin. Even Pleiades feels a little bit stronger. Um, so maybe, possibly, and it's not coming through. But I can't really say that that is an origin or not an origin. I definitely feel like there are some other planets too. There's something with Arcturus, but then that they're not even giving me a feeling of what the connection is really at all. There's just this feeling again and again like this is supposed to come to you. Um, you're supposed to get this on your own in a different way. It just doesn't feel like it's supposed to come through this reading. And that's really all it is. It's not like you're blocked and no, we need to talk about this other thing. Um, and that's why I literally say on my website, if there's blocks, you might want to get the aura clearing reading first. If you have a feeling that there might be a lot of blocks coming up. But this is, I don't think I've ever had this before. I don't think I've ever had this before. I've only had it where the person is blocked and their guides are like, hey, we're going to spend all of our time talking about this. And you can, well, we can get to the origin later, and it just feels secondary to them. It feels like it's not as relative. It feels like things need to clear for some reason, only with this specific reading. For some reason, things need to clear before they can get to it. With you, it just feels like it's just not going to come through this reading for the reason that it's not meant to. That's really the only thing that it feels like. Okay, so I have some like a cat energy coming in, and I have just overall some like night energies coming in, and it feels like there's a shift um, to a bit more feminine energy right now, especially. Not that that wasn't always there, but it feels like there's still this grounding, and there's definitely a balance of masculine and feminine, but it feels like right now you're stepping predominantly into a feminine current and using the masculine energy as needed, just because you're really stepping into your psychic abilities more. And that's all about going within. And so that's more your feminine energies at play. Okay, so we are a little over our time limit, and your guides are kind of letting me know that because I could have like continued. Okay, I definitely feel like I definitely feel like the information could have continued. Okay, but that is the end of this reading. So thank you so much, Higher Chakras, for allowing me to do this reading for you and for allowing me to connect to your guides. I truly hope that this reading has benefited you. Thank you very much. Namaste.